So here's what I wanted to make a video about. In the Summer Wells case, I had a disturbing revelation, and it occurred to me that I read a book and it popped into my head that what I was thinking of, what did this remind me of, is Summer Wells reminded me of the child called It. And if anybody doesn't know who is the child called It, let me share with you. Okay. This is Wikipedia, the child called It. It actually doesn't say as much as I would have thought. So, about this book, it says that, let's see, David Peltzer, born December 29, 1960, is an author of several autobiographical and self-help books. His memoir of childhood abuse, The Child Called It, was listed on the New York Times bestseller list for several years, and in 5 years had sold 1.6 million copies. The book is a source of controversy. Of course, I think some of his family refute it, as you can imagine they would. Okay, it says that he was born in San Francisco, California, the second of 5 boys. He grew up in Dallas City, California, as the son of Catherine Ruerva Peltzer and Joseph Pfizer. And Peltzer's books describes the abuse he suffered for several years of childhood, including continual mistreatments and beatings by his mother, who he said thought of it as a game. His teacher stepped in March 5, 1973, when 12-year-old Peltzer was placed in foster care at age 18, and he joined the Air Force. Okay, keep in mind, he was 12. He suffered this abuse for 12 years, and it wasn't just, like regular child abuse, if there's such a thing. It is the worst kind of child abuse, or any kind of abuse that you can possibly think of. Okay, abuse. It says that his book describes, well, let me go up a little bit. His book describes, from his viewpoint, the severe abuse he suffered as a child. He writes about how his mother was physically and emotionally abusive towards him from ages 4 to 12. He describes how his mom starved him, forced him to drink ammonia, stabbed him in the stomach, burned his arm on a gas stove, and forced him to eat his own vomit. And he mentioned his father was not active in resolving or stopping conflicts between Peltzer and his alcoholic mother. He was sent to a foster family at age 12 in 1973. In the book, he refers to his relatives by pseudonyms. One of Dave's brothers, Richard Peltzer, published his own autobiography, A Brother's Journey, that details his experiences, and said that afterwards in his book that his objectives for his story was to show how a parent can become abusive, how the human spirit can triumph and survive. So basically, hang on. So this boy, his mom resented him and picked him out of the other kids. She didn't treat the other kids this bad. I don't think she was exactly like a 100% adoring mother of the year to the other kids, but she didn't lock them in the closet like she did him. She didn't starve the other kids, only him. Like, she only treated this kid. It was like her personal rag doll to beat and shame. And I mean, she took pleasure out of kicking this kid while he was down and beating him and treating him as badly as she possibly could. She really hated this kid and took her hatred out on him. And the father of this kid, for whatever reason, found it easier to just ignore the abuse that was going on. So even though he described his relationship with his father as a loving relationship, and he desperately wanted his father to save him, his father just ignored it, the abuse, and just overlooked it to keep his mother happy, and never did. I want to say, I'm not sure if they even stayed together, his mom and dad. His dad and mom might have divorced. I'm not even sure if they stayed together. But for whatever reason, the dad just never took up for this kid and anyone else in the kid's life up until he was 12 years old. Till he was 12 years old, that's a lot of teachers, that's a lot of children, youth, people, that's a lot of strangers in the grocery store. I mean, this kid was getting physically beaten. He had marks. There's a lot of nurses, doctors, anybody that could have reported that. A lot is slipping through the cracks. And it just reminded me of, well, it reminded me of Little Summer with a shaved head. It reminded me of Little Summer with a rib sticking out. It reminded me of the conversations when Molly Golightly went down there and the neighbors were saying that Candace never wanted Summer. She never wanted a girl. She never wanted that pregnancy. She was giving alcohol to Summer, 5-year-old Summer. And the fact that Dawn was giving so much attention to Summer, possibly even SA Summer, which in a sick way would have made Candace even jealous of Summer, in a way that a woman should never even be jealous of her own daughter, a child. Think of how these people are messed up. And it changes the whole dynamic of her supposed to be protecting her daughter to her then in a competition with her daughter and her punishing her daughter. So no, so let's see here. Then I thought, you also have more than one independent. Okay. Hang on. Okay, make sure I'm streaming because I don't even. Hang on 1 second. Okay. So let me see if I can share this. So I'm sharing my screen right now. Let me see if I can share a different tab. Share. Okay. Top screen. So let me see if I can share. Documents. No. Tab. Okay. So here, share. Okay. So then you have more than one independent witness saying this. Okay. This is just disturbing. But keep in mind that Jody Sue had also said this on Tiffany's stream. So if you didn't believe Jody Sue, here's another. This is Allie. The Allie that is H's mom saying the same thing. Separate, independent witnesses both saying the same thing.
And I would take the little girl in the shower and brought her downstairs. That's ridiculous. Like Brian didn't give that any of that. Like too many names can be said anymore. Like my daughter's father was living together about because. It was very cheerleading with her father's boyfriend, and somebody made a picture of her. She had that daughter is cheerleading.
I appreciate that.
No, she's from her spot. Right. You know what I'm saying? My question is,
that flower to justify why that was there, and it just kind of EVG about it.
yeah.
Would you mind going where did I come from? I'm sorry. Thank you.
Come here.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you.
You know,
Oh, I can only imagine.
but you have to understand, like, many people don't like that alley. And it's not Hunter's fault. Hunter's 15. It's Candace's fault. Allie, I want you to know, as far as what? You know, I know Allison, I'm Molly Whiteley, and I have one of the biggest voices in the YouTube community. If there's anything that you want to say, please say it. Just say it now. And I promise that message will be heard loud and clear.
The mother and grandmother knows where that baby is.
Yeah. I think Don does too. Don was on YouTube the other night. A lady text messaged me on Facebook. She went through some of my friends. They didn't say that. Never cooked dinner that way. Don was on Facebook and he said, on YouTube, he said that my 12-year-old daughter, he said her name and what we call her. I heard it. Has a badass body. Has a body from fucking hell. Yes, we have that.
I can go back to school.
She's 12. She said, fucking said motherfucking something's that. I mean, I catch charges. I said, like, no grown ass man is talking about 12-year-old like that.
And I know that he also been getting their alcohol because he gave my grandkids alcohol. And it's not legit. Just when he was a little one, when they used to stay here, I think that I thought it was supposed to be a fun. I didn't hear that. I heard that.
Yeah, she's gonna be pregnant, and then if she's not already, simply, yeah. That's how old is she? All right, guys, thank you so much.
What about you said about
70.
that you have a 5-year-old daughter and she's in a mentalist.
I don't have a 5-year-old daughter.
It's my great grandchild.
She's
that's where they're going. That is in a mental institution, and she's been there since March.
Oh yeah, she didn't get out anytime soon. But when Jeremy sent her put my address on YouTube Live.
I have to sit on the porch.
I know.
Not now, but in the summer, I watch. All these people go.
You guys are lucky, you guys do have a nice little park here.
Oh, wait a minute, yes, I'll sit over there. Yeah, she showed me.
You see her do drugs down?
No, she didn't pop the pills. Her
So you're being trapped. Just because I'm.
You see her
My son was
right?
in school, he was getting.
And I realized that she's.
Yes.
I heard that she did.
I don't get on my Facebook. Like,
My kid.
But I just want to let you guys know, you guys are victims of this nonsense too.
Yeah, what stuff?
down in the basement there about you guys, you know? And we're sorry everything's going on. It's not fair. It just
My little
isn't.
girl is buried on their property.
That's what we've been saying too.
God.
You guys, I'm telling you guys, we're all on the same page.
Why else won't why won't they let any authorities on that property, sir? Don't they own
If
like
it was my
40
kid,
acres?
I'd be like, have at it.
Yeah, if you got nothing to hide, I
In
just,
fact, he put no trespassing sign all over
Oh,
the trees
yeah.
around the house. This is under surveillance, no trespassing. No one needs.
Yeah.
He doesn't even want packages going up to us. He gets a drum. That's driving 110. Yeah. And
And why
he
would
went-
grandmother love to stay?
Yeah.
Under,
Why
if
she
you're
like-
not criminal investigation.
the
oh, there's
grandmother-
a lot of schools now. There are a lot of kids.
I wish she wasn't allowed, but I remember she took off because she didn't want to answer questions because she's been
Then
to
she
this
came.
before.
And this,
Her daughter, Rosemary, Candace's sister,
Went missing.
went missing, and I know that girl's buried because they told me a story one night that where they used to live, it was a cement driveway. Her kids were 3 and 4 and said, "Mommy's there, mommy's there." Why didn't they ever plan that? Wisconsin or whatever.
Wisconsin, that's
Yeah,
probably why
wherever.
she's gone.
Yeah.
All the kids up there on that face.
Someone at a bar, her friend.
Yep.
Never made it.
Yeah.
Who would have been responsible for her sister's death, the mom or Candace?
Both probably. Or Candace anyway, because I know Candace. did
Which
it.
one?
The daughter.
Okay.
You think CPS should ever put the boys back?
No,
in the house?
no,
No.
not at all. Please,
No,
no.
no, I appreciate your passion.
No,
It's like you know, and you know.
those kids come here in the summer before summer break. They're filthy, and so is the
All in one
water.
room?
They didn't ever cook summer stuff with mommy. Frozen pizza and whatever else.
The little one, Waylon, he showed up here and he had a third-degree burn on his.
Oh, wait a minute, yeah, I know. Wood stove down there in the basement. She showed me that.
A wood stove down in the basement where Candace or Summer slept?
Yeah,
Where they all slept.
they all sit down there.
All the kids slept in that basement? All in one room?
Summer slept with mommy and dad in the bed. They didn't even have a door in the bathroom. Now they do because now the fire station has to have one.
Section that whole part off.
Yeah, they sectioned that off. Did they? Yeah. Because we went up there.
Chris, where was these? There. When he did her interview with her, she took him through her nasty house.
When she got to Texas, she came down to her house and wanted me to go. Well, they do. So I went up to her station and when I was spoken with, but the kids wanted to see the dogs. And I,
Yeah.
Okay, I found it. Sorry about that. Okay. There you go. That's this is before Dr. Phil redid the makeup job. This is how it actually looked when she went missing. Okay. And that's not true. Wait a minute. Okay. She says that's the oldest two brothers' bedroom, but you just heard Allie say they all slept downstairs in the basement. Interesting. Kitchen. Photo pin this missing sister. Paperwork family says her three boys were watching TV. Look at that clutter. Okay, now see where she's pointing down? She's pointing down into the cubby that's going to lead down into the basement where the bedrooms are. This is what triggered in my mind, one of the things that triggered to the boy that's called It, okay? Because how easy it is to hide that stairwell down there that you would never even know that it's there. Look at that. Entrance to the stairs. Look at that. It's hidden under a shelf, bookshelf. And this is dark. Somewhere in 9-year-old brother's bedroom. But apparently they all slept down there except Summer, who slept in the adjacent room with her parents. How sad. And just think for a second, guys. Do you think on a sunny day, on a nice sunny afternoon, that a 9-year-old girl would come down here by herself to this dark, dingy room to play with what few things are scattered on the floor there and a mattress on the floor? Does that sound plausible to anybody? Okay, see that there? Supposedly, on this day, she went downstairs to play with her toys. Those couple things on the floor there. That's what she went downstairs to play with by herself in that basement. No light coming in. There's the door. So all the kids slept in that room. See, there's the bunk beds in the basement. Interesting. So, there you go. What do you guys think? You guys think it sounds reasonable that a 9-year-old girl who loves to play outside on a sunny day would go downstairs to that dark room to play with those couple of toys scattered on the floor in that basement by herself? Does that look fun to anybody? Thinking as a child, is that something that you would do by yourself? Does that sound like something that a child would do? Does that sound like something your child would do? That doesn't sound right to me. That doesn't sound like anything. I'll tell you what. I have a niece that's 9 years old. She would be scared to death to go down to that basement by herself. She would be terrified to go down there by herself. She would not even be in that room, either one of those rooms, by herself, let alone go down there on her own. She won't even sleep with the closet doors open. There's no way. No way. There's no way. If you ask me, especially if she had 2 older brothers upstairs sitting there watching TV. She's either going to hop down next to those boys and sit there and watch what they're watching, or she's going to walk right back outside while she's already right next to a door. Why go downstairs in the basement to walk out a door if she's going to walk back outside? It don't make no sense. Why not just walk right back out the door? Where was Candace when she called 911? In my opinion, if Candace is not directly responsible for Summer's disappearance, like directly responsible, she hadn't been there for a long time. And I mean a long time. And by the time she realized that Summer wasn't there, it's because she had no idea, because she hadn't been watching Summer all day long. So she's responsible because she should have had, she should have had, she's a 5-year-old child. Maybe she's lying because she just had no idea. Maybe the boys just called her and said, "Hey, Mom, haven't seen Summer all day. Don't know what happened to her." Maybe Candace has no idea what time she was there last. Maybe she brought her back from swimming at 3 o'clock and went running for 3 hours. And Candace is lying to cover her ass, right? But is she covering her ass because she's responsible for Summer's disappearance? Or is she covering her ass because she's a bad mom and a drug addict and an alcoholic and a garbage human being? So, those are the two options in my mind. Supposedly, TBI is interviewing the boys. It sounds like they were giving them some time to heal, some time to understand that they're safe and that they're not going to have to go back to the house of horrors that they escaped from, and that they can tell the truth. 6-month mark. It's been 6 months since Summer was gone. Got gone, Dawn says. So, it's a good time to revisit the story with the boys. The boys have the answer as much as anybody in that house, because they are Mom's alibi. But they're also children, and they're also innocent, and they're also victims of this house of horrors. So it's a tough situation, and it's a delicate situation, but they have escaped this house of horrors. So maybe they'll be able to provide justice for their sister someday. I think they just might. Maybe not even knowingly. just by feeling safe enough to tell the truth and not, threatened. There's another case, a little girl went missing, and her sister went to school and said that her sister was eaten by a pack of wolves, and she is no more. And that was enough to get a investigation opened into her case. So, I don't know. I think that the boys will provide the answers once they feel safe enough to do so. But yeah, I think that Candace was, I think she was sick in the head, and I think that when this baby came along, who was a girl, who was a pregnancy that was not wanted, and she did not want a girl, and Dawn did want a girl, and Dawn also had a propensity towards sexual deviancy and towards incest and towards SA of that age when he was younger. And once he started showing that attention toward Summer, is it possible that Candace took it out on Summer? Is it possible that Candace treated Summer a little harsher, if she maybe there is stories where when Molly went and interviewed these people or neighbors and people that knew her, that said that when Candace would take the children to the candy store, that the boys could get candy and that little Summer could not. There's witness stories that back that up. That's possible. And there's pictures that it looks like there's bruising on Summer's face and arms, and there's stories of Candace giving all the kids alcohol. There's 911 dispatch calls of Candace giving the neighborhood children alcohol, not teenagers, children, 11, 12-year-old children. There's also evidence that the trouble in the marriage ramped up after Summer's arrival during her pregnancy, and after her arrival, the 911 calls, the amount and frequency. Did Candace blame the trouble in the marriage? Did she blame that on Summer? A lot of the interviews you hear Candace talk about, well, Summer was a daddy's girl. You hear Dawn talk about, yeah, well, we tried to get Summer to bond with Candace, but she was always just attached to me, and it was just always gonna be that way. Maybe Candace just always had a grudge against Summer. Maybe she just always. There's also stories about them trying to adopt Summer out to people willing and wanting to adopt Summer, but when it came to the price that they wanted, the people couldn't come up with the amount of money. The amount of money was too much. So it's not that they couldn't part with Summer. They were willing to give her up. They just wanted a lot more. They thought they could get more money out of her. Yeah. So that's what I've been thinking about. Let me know. I was hoping that anybody would come up on panel with me and chat for a bit, but let me know in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that Candace was jealous of Summer? Do you guys think that Candace is responsible? You guys think that Candace did something? And even if she isn't, do you think that because of Candace's negligence, she's responsible anyway? I do. Alright, well, hope you guys like that. My thoughts on that, and I'm trying to get this, do better with the whole window sharing thing. So if you guys don't mind subscribing, I'd really appreciate it. Help me get better. So thanks. See you next time.